14 years ago, I uploaded a series of videos titled Nuclear War Prophecy Revealed. People scoffed at it because, Russia is never going to launch anything. The United States and Russia, it wasn't quite yet back into the full swing of the renewed Cold War. I reposted that video on my Patreon page last night, about 12 hours ago from the time of this recording. A couple hours after that repost of that old 14-year-old post, Russia launched an ICBM missile at Ukraine. Now, with the current escalations in the world, we have Ukraine using our ATACMS missiles against Russia, which, if you don't know, absolutely configurable to nuclear weapons. That's part of the package. It's actually one of the primary missions of the ATACMS missile. And so what you could call this is a escalation. But I'm here to tell you, there are many of us that are not surprised at all, that know this has been coming for over 2,500 years. Okay? There's a book you guys might want to read that explains what's coming around the corner, so that we can all begin to really take a couple steps back, have a wide field of view, and start to walk in the right direction. This book details exactly what's coming down. It is no surprise that Russia specifically would be launching a Megillah with a 40-liter container on it, with a wicked fire offering to consume houses and buildings, and that this would be the curse that goes forth over the face of the entire earth, it says, and that these 40-liter containers, these ephah, these baskets, would be lifted up between the heaven and the earth, and basically the entire world of Shinar, because Shinar has extended past the Euphrates River now, will be judged, and all those that swear falsely by his name will be cut off according to that, and all those that steal his name will be cut off. If you guys want to read that stuff, these are given to us as specific warnings because he loves us, man, and he wants us to not be surprised. He doesn't want us to... There's going to be no excuse when all this stuff goes down. You know how fast stuff could have escalated a couple hours ago? Do you know how fast that could happen? Real fast. When you're talking about the interior-based land missiles, like the Minuteman IIIs, are upgrading those to the Sentinel now, and the Russian SS-18s, and they have land mobile systems and also fixed stuff in silos. It's only like 17, 20 minutes for those missiles to go across the entire earth and hit their targets here. Like a half hour. A half hour is on the long side. And if you're talking submarine-launched ballistic missiles, 3 to 5 minutes warning. That's not even enough time for Grandpa Joe to find his ice cream cone and put his pants on to even say anything. We know that this is going to come as a shock. It's written in the book. It's been written in the book the whole time. I'm here to sell a book, guys. Okay, I'm not selling this book literally, but I'm selling the idea of you finding one of these things. It's called the Bible. It's been in there the whole time. The prophet Zechariah details the exact firing mechanism of thermonuclear weapons. He said that even describes the mechanism, the materials, the delivery systems, the targeting. It's in the prophet Zechariah. Now, you're probably not going to hear about that in church because they're too busy with their agenda, which is maybe different than what his is, actually. He wants you to repent and to stop our wicked ways so that we can come back to the old ways, loving our family, loving Him, being obedient. But when we continue to feast on our earthly desires and our earthly priorities, when we fail to realize who's actually in charge, He will turn you over to your God, whether that be Him or whether that be the world. Who's the God of this world? Who does the book say that might be? At some point, He's going to have to allow us to bear our fruit that we've been insisting to bear. There's a thing called hubris. And just because everyone in the, a couple weeks ago got their new pet elephant, right? You got your new pet elephant, like Bart, what's that movie, The Simpsons? Where he gets a pet elephant, but it's like freaking too big for him to feed. All right, you got your pet elephant. Now what are you going to do? Nothing's really changed. In fact, the desperation of insane people is worse. I'm just saying, man, like, I don't want this to be a surprise when it's too late for people. And I'm not saying to just merely pile up beans in your basement or something like that, although that's not a terrible idea. You know, it might be a good idea to have some water stored in your basement, like clean water that's not irradiated, so you don't have to go outside to the river and then die of all that, right? There's just basic stuff like water and stuff that might be a good idea to have, but way beyond that, there is actual real life protection and warning that comes with the proper connections to what's really going on. The timing was so strange. I had a very strong feeling last night, like I probably should post this nuclear war prophecy video from 14 years ago again for my patrons, just to let them know. Because when stuff starts happening, they need to know that that was absolutely under His control, that it was foreseen since before the time of Christ. It's been detailed, written in the book, in numerous other places too. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out. It's hard to find on the internet now for some reason, but maybe I'll share a link below for you guys. But I'm just telling you, like, this stuff is not going to be a surprise to His kids. If it's a surprise to you, well, you're invited into the family too, man, right? Everyone's invited. Whether or not they show up is up to them. Okay? So, my only wish in this communication also too, so for those of you that are not His kid, there's no time that makes it more clear than when you're on the brink of absolute total destruction. Like the Barry, what's that song by McGuire? Eve of Destruction. I sang that a couple months ago. Yeah, man, it is the eve of destruction. It always has been. By the way, you could wipe out in your car on the icy roads today and also like be the same equivalent for you, right? But the other half of this message is for those that are His kids. Those of you that are His kids, I also recorded, I'll post it on Patreon probably when I get back in the house. I posted a video last night right before all the stuff went down called "You Are Not Allowed to Be Scared of Dumb Scheist." You're not allowed to be scared of dumb shit, guys. Is a nuclear war? Are you allowed to be scared of a nuclear war? You are not. If you haven't seen capital SEE, if you do not yet have solidified, established experience with the blessings of Papa to see who He is, those blessings pour out when we index our life to His will, called obedience and love. Some of you in church land might call it sanctification, but not by your church standards, by His standards of sanctification. See, combing your hair And not saying a naughty word does not constitute sanctification in his category, man. You might impress the church lady, you might impress your pastor, but combing your hair nicely, speaking softly, and having a pleasant tone with the right Victorian English. Rex, you said a naughty word. I can't believe. You say you're holding a Bible and you said a naughty word at the same time? It's not in the book. Index to his standards. Not people's, not the Queen of England standards. We rate each other in such funny ways. First off, we're not supposed to rate each other. We're supposed to help each other. That's the first deal. What are you worried about me for? Go love your papa in heaven. What are you worried about me saying a naughty word for, man? But beyond that, who's the boss? This deal is so simple, it's stupid. This is the rules, the basic instructions before leaving Earth. Basic instructions before leaving Earth, right here. That's the rules. If you're his, but if you're someone else's, oofta. There is a fire judgment coming that is quite literal. All throughout biblical history, his judgments have come in the form of nation states absolutely dishing it out on those that need judgment. Even his own kids. He allowed Pharaoh to take them. He allowed the Babylonians to judge them. He allowed the Medo-Persians and the Greeks and the Romans and everyone else to sanctify them, to basically put them through the, to make them gold tried in the furnace. When they're disobedient, we get spanked. Okay? So, just here to kind of like share the good news, man, that like, if you're his, he controls all space, time, and matter. All powers are unified in him. And if you're unified with him, or connected or indexed in his will, through the exact doorway he tells us to do it, then like, you're not allowed to be scared of nuclear bombs, man. Does that mean you don't put water in the basement? I wouldn't see Noah put fresh water on the boat, I'm sure, and put animals on the boat, right? Because he did trust Papa when he talked. When Noah heard, I'm going to judge the earth with the water. It's going to be pretty rough, Noah. Here's the dimensions for a boat. Noah said, I actually believe that that's true. I'm going to actually build that boat. Likewise, when he tells us that there's a fire judgment coming, man, and that we probably better sort of be ready for some rough times, what are you going to do? Okay. So, in love, this is a friendly public service reminder that is perfectly timed, strangely, which in fact, I'll tell you what, the timing is weird. The timing is weird on my end, that's for sure. Totally, absolutely felt it coming. Ask the patrons. It's not pointing at me, it's pointing at Papa's precision timing to get his message out at the perfect time. So, if you would like to share if you agree with what I'm talking about, and it's not a surprise to you that this shit is coming down, then maybe before, because right now you see Russia is apparently snipping all the undersea cables for the internet. They already got the gas lines last year. So now they're snipping undersea cables right now as I'm talking. Hopefully this video makes it to your house. But before all the undersea internet cables are sabotaged by us or them or whoever, because I don't know what the hell's going on. Before that happens, while you still have comms, maybe like share the message that the answers are actually have always been in this book. And then what's going down last night is in this book. Is that's like what they call a warning shot. And praise Yah that he gives us a warning shot so that we can utilize the little bit of time that there might be left to actually help people to realize that he's actually in charge, so that when they're sitting in the ashes, casting dust on their head or whatever they're gonna, whatever people want to do, they'll at least remember he's in charge, maybe. And that might give them some comfort and time to adjust fire in life. Okay, best to do it now while we're still cozy, because winter is cold, man. And if you don't have any communication and no furnace, tell you what, like, we all procrastinate way too much. So share this communication with those you love, those that you think might need a heads up or a warning. And I'll share the links below for the full real dope on the subject matter. The videos I'm referring to were posted on the internet in several different forms. 14 years ago, it was a 3-part series. I made it into a 1-part series 2 years ago when this stuff really started picking up steam. I'm like, oh, here we go. Looks like, here we go, man. I read this book. All right, I know what's going on here, right? So I want you guys to share that stuff with each other. And if you'd like to support the operation and get the fullness, and I'm going to do the talk on why you're not allowed to be scared of stuff and why it's scared to be dumb of a nuclear war. Don't be scared. That's not what they call constructive energy input. If you're motivated by that, do the right stuff. We'll talk about that on my Patreon. Okay, I'm going to go post that right now. So by the time this post, that should be up over there for the patrons. The lowest tier where we actually post stuff on is plenty affordable. I do have to feed my family, you know. I do have to feed my family. I have kids too, right? So I don't make you guys work for free when I go to the steak restaurant. You only made me a steak because you were trying to get money. What are you, a communist? Is Rex not allowed a cup of coffee once a month to support Rex's operation so I can buy my kid, you know, like a candy bar every once in a while when we drive past the gas station? Or so I can't plant tomatoes to feed the family? Everyone else gets paid for going to work. And I appreciate when you also consistently treat me with that same standard. So thank you to the patrons for supporting the operation so that I can continue to teach and do what I do over there, because we do over 50 or 70 posts a month or whatever. But thank you for your support. And most of all, share the stuff that I put out, which is a huge amount of work, for $0, because I have to say something years and years and years ago. Share that stuff. People should not be surprised as this stuff goes down. It's a good opportunity. And the reason I think he allowed us more time and to see this thing unfold with warning shots. When you see a MIRV hitting a major city and how it lights up the clouds right before it hits, and it's so fast. Those things are fast. They're going like, when they're re-entering, they're going like Mach 9, Mach 10, Mach 15, depending on the trajectory of the missile. Amazing. An amazing fire judgment is coming. Incredible. It's like what they call a spectacular warning sign for you guys, okay? So share the warning sign. He bought you more time, and he's merciful that you can like see what's coming. We're in a Mexican standoff, man. Or even worse, Russian standoff, right? So, no. It's, in terms of three-dimensional danger level, way worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis. But Rex is not scared. Here's the funny thing. If you read the book, towards the end, when this stuff actually does hit, when it's full-on Babylon being burned to the ground in 1 hour, the entire modern world is judged in 1 hour, and it's completely made to toast. If you read the book, his people rejoice. His people rejoice that test is finally over, so that we can actually be free to live quality lives the way we're supposed to live. It's a different perspective, okay? We can treat your neighbors with love, help each other, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. It's coming soon to a city near you. Now, depending on where you're at, it can be extremely exciting and happy news, or it can be horrifically terrifying, depending on what your perspective is. So, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, as long as it lasts. And we'll catch you on the flip side. Rex out.